this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde. I am joined alongside my co-host in White Sox, baseball, Cubs, whatever you name it, analysts and specialists, Tony Cepeda. And today we are diving into the current news of the Chicago Cubs and White Sox, who's hot and who's not, and what's next for both of these teams, because Chicago baseball is on a new level right now. Tony is definitely going to jump into how guaranteed rate it is now with the 60% capacity. Wrigley has been bumping as well, even when games aren't there. The bars are back. Chicago is going back to normal. But before we begin, we'd like to go into our sponsor. 27 years and counting, HLC, Higher Level Camps, is the longest running boys and girls AAU basketball program in Wisconsin. HLC was also established in 1995 by their founder and retired NBA star Cheryl Moore. HCL has grown into 3 different locations: the Greater Fond du Lac, Milwaukee, and Clare counties, all in Wisconsin, and they're welcome to all different families from the Midwest. For more information, visit higherlevelcamps.com and say Just Another Year sent you. And yes, Cheryl is a Packers fan. Yes, she pays the bills, so we do love Cheryl. Just kidding, Cheryl. We still love you anyway. But going off of that, jumping into the first topic today, the Chicago Cubs are winning. I'm talking hashtag Charlie Sheen winning. They are doing super well in regards to playing good baseball. Their bullpen, yes, the Cubs bullpen that I ripped on for the majority of the beginning of the season is hot, hot, hot. They're only a half game out of first place thanks to the White Sox
You're welcome.
and the Cubs. Yeah, thank you, Tony. Even though the Cubs took 2 out of 3. So if the Sox can, I believe the Sox do play the Cardinals again tonight, right?
Yep, right, they started just right now, 1:10 p.m.
All right, 1:10 p.m. So if during this game or, during the day, if I will give credit to the White Sox where credit is due if they sweep the Cardinals. How about that?
Deal.
All right. But again, the Chicago Cubs are winning ball games. They were once 4 games out, and now they're within half a game of first place. Cubs win tonight. Sox win today. Guess what? The Cubs are back in first of the NL Central, and the Cubs and White Sox will both be in first place in the AL and the NL Central. Haven't said that in a very, very long time for both of these ball clubs. I will say the Cubs have definitely been in the first a lot more recently over the last decade than the White Sox. Tony's shaking his head. He has to agree. But, man, I am pumped being a Cubs fan right now. I'm pumped being a Cubs fan looking at the White Sox when they're not playing each other. Baseball is so much fun in Chicago right now. And, Tony, I'm giving respect where respect is due. Who are you loving on the Cubs right now in regards to heat, and who's the most exciting to watch?
So, there's a lot of obvious answers, of course. Javy's finally, he had that huge home run that helped give him the win the other day. But Kimbrel, honestly, is probably my, personal MVP from an outside perspective, because as someone who has, Liam Hendricks and has had, great closers, the Cubs have too. We've also had some bad closers, both teams, and we know that is so important, especially with winning ball games, because you can win the first 8 2/3 of a game, but if you don't, if you give up, a walk-off home run, you give up too many runs in the 9th inning, all that work is for naught. So, and then you waste Kyle Hendricks, you waste a good starting pitching performance, and that's why, personally for me, Kimbrel has been really kind of maybe unsung. I think he's getting the praise he probably deserves too, but I think he is kind of the unsung hero so far.
And I kind of posted this today. So you can tell when Tony posts and when I post. So I post all the Cubs stuff 90% of the time, and Tony posts the Sox stuff 100% of the time. But I will say that the Cubs are finally getting their money's worth for Kimbrel. And the problem is that's the last year of his contract, which kind of hurts and kind of doesn't look as good. But he is playing well where it matters. He's looking like his old self because he is a future Hall of Famer at the end of the day. And he's getting paid what the Cubs brought him in to do, and that's help lead this bullpen. And the Cubs have a very young bullpen right now that is doing very, very well. So, I have that as well. I have Kimbrel as one of the better players on the team right now. And just the bullpen as a whole. Starting pitching is really starting to shock people. Zach Davies is doing super well. Jake Arrieta had that one bad night. Of course, I was there against the Washington Nationals, but it was only really 2 innings. And that he, out of his, I believe he did 6. So, he was just in a groove and a funk. It was the first night Wrigley was like really packed and bumping. So the pressure might have been on for him a little bit, and also the bats weren't too hot that night, even though Javy tried with a rally in the last inning. But yes, Cubs bullpen usually don't go together. And the last time they went together was 2016. So more to come on that. But you kind of hit on Javy. Javy is heating up too. He's getting on base. He's, flashing the defense. But a guy that isn't named Chris Bryant, Joc Pederson, is turning out to be my favorite signing of the offseason. At first, everyone was like, he's, the Dodgers got rid of him for a reason. It looked like it. And this dude has crushed 4 home runs over the last 3 games, 2 of them coming last night against the Pirates to pretty much help the Cubs win the game. So, Joc Pederson is starting, and as the weather got warmer, Joc's got hotter. So that kind of makes me nervous in October baseball because, obviously if the Cubs make the playoffs, October is not a very warm time in Chicago for the first maybe 3 days. But when it's World Series time, it gets a little cold. So, Tony, I know that you like Joc Pederson. You wish Joc Pederson went to the White Sox. But what are you seeing out of him that he's bringing to the Cubs that the Cubs were missing in Kyle Schwarber?
That's a great point. I was exactly going to say that I wish that we still had him on the South side. Although we've been doing well, he is someone that he brings that power to the lineup. He brings that, any given pitch could be put onto Waveland, onto Sheffield, any given moment. And I think what he brings that Schwarber doesn't is also just being able to play the outfield. Obviously, I know we're talking about his hitting. Schwarber's a good hitter. Like it's not really, in my opinion, it's not like a crazy upgrade, crazy downgrade, anything like that. I think where the big difference is just the fielding. And, we saw with Eloy with the White Sox, that matters. Okay, maybe it's just one error in a game, but it could be the winning run. So I think that's where that Joc Pederson addition for an amazing price ture was it $7 million for a year?
Nothing. We got him for
absolutely nothing for the production you're getting out of him, and just a sure-handed outfielder. I mean, he's not going to win a Gold Glove, but he's absolutely not going to lead the league in errors.
No, and that's the other thing is that I will say Joc Pederson is not the fastest fielder. And if the Cubs did have a designated hitter position, if the NL did designated hitters like the AL, Joc would be a designated hitter. There's no doubt about it. But, he's got a cannon of an arm. If he gets a good read on it, but the second you see it go past him, you're looking at a triple, potentially inside the park home run, because that dude is slow. But he's flashed the glove a few times, shown off the cannon. He's just slow. And, Kyle Schwarber was kind of the same. And it was cool seeing Schwarber back at Wrigley last week. But at the same time, it's literally just watching Joc for a cheaper, for more expensive. So, I think he's been, again, like you said, I think he's been a great pickup. Chris Murphy, is it Matt Murphy? The Cubs utility guy.
Jason Marisnick.
No, he's been out though. I know that for a fact. Matt Duffy.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Matt Duffy. Sorry, I don't know why I brain farted on him. He's been a great utility guy. So I think the Cubs, again, we've said this before, are really good at picking up guys out of free agency and knowing what they want out of a player, knowing what the player knows their role entering the team. So that's really good. And that's just a good feeling to have around Wrigley. And then also there's been reports now, I'm a big Wilson Contreras guy. And he literally said to the media, they need to keep us 4 together. And the 4 would be Chris Bryant, Wilson, Javy, and Rizzo. And I think the Cubs are going to do everything in their power to make that happen. Guys might have to take a hometown discount for it, though. If the Cubs were to make it to the pennant this year, I think that you could see 4 individual, $150 million deals for let's say, it's hard with the cap for maybe 3-4 years, or crazy bonuses that aren't high level. I mean, the way they're playing, they're showing Jed Hoyer, hey, your life's going to be hell when it comes this offseason, because who are you going to keep, who you're not. But, very, very hot. And in regards to who's not hot for the Cubs right now, it's not. Jason Hayward, unfortunately, is injured, so I guess you could say he's not hot because that just sucks. And then Nico Hoerner, my guy, got hurt last night. Probably a hamstring injury. Will probably be out for the next 2 to 3 weeks. But honestly, everyone on the Cubs is just doing very well right now. And I can't complain when it comes to that. So that's it in Cubs news. Again, they are half game out of first place in the NL Central. They have been red hot. I believe they've won 8 out of their last 10 now. Yes, it's 8 out of their last 10, going for 9 out of their last 10 tonight against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So more to come on that. But going into the team that is currently playing right now against the St. Louis Cardinals, who the Cubs need to lose, the Chicago White Sox. Tony, hit me with it. Just go crazy. I know that you like to call it the G spot last night, as great as that name is. But apparently it was like WWE. There's beer sticks in the outfield. It felt like the South Side of 2005. So like, hit me with it, Tony. What are we thinking?
Oh yeah, of course I was in the G spot last night. You know that. I was out in right center field.
It sounds
and
so wrong.
Yeah, it legitimately felt like maybe like a playoff atmosphere. Yeah, mixed with like WWE, like an MMA crowd. Everyone was excited just to be out there. There were fights in the crowd again. It was, there was you could see Sox fans from across the park throwing beer cans like missiles down at like Cardinals fans sitting against the netting and stuff. And it was, they had the what I'm calling the world's largest cup snake at a baseball stadium, because
it was long.
It has to be, right? That was huge, because also like they break it up really quick, like at Wrigley and other places. I don't think anyone else has the dedication that our fan base has. But either way, it was absolutely buzzing. No,
you didn't even have a fan base in enough of the stands last year or 2 years ago for that to happen. So let's watch out now. Watch out now.
Yeah, no, of course. So that it was just buzzing. People were. I mentioned it to you before. The first 2 innings were really long, so I think people got really drunk really fast, way quicker than they meant to, especially with the cutoff being in the 7th inning. So people were, every time a ball was hit to the wall and the Cardinals, were in the field, it was like something where like you genuinely thought the center fielder murdered everyone's family, because they were just screaming, "You suck, you suck," just right in the guy's face, and it was like a hostile environment for non-Sox fans. Southside is back; it's buzzing. And speaking of buzzing, though, let me tell you who's buzzing. Lance Lynn is an absolute bulldog. He had an awesome post-game press conference where he basically just said, I don't care what I look like up there. I have a bad demeanor. You're dang right I do. I'm an asshole on the mound, and that's how I want to be, because I want you to know that I don't care about you standing in the batter's box. He's got a 1.51 ERA. He's 5-1. Should be 6-0. That's not his fault. He encapsulates that South Side mentality. That crowd last night was just a bunch of Lance Lynns, and it was awesome. Another guy who was back and buzzing is Lucas Giolito after the big matchup against his old high school teammate Jack Flaherty, I believe that's pronounced.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, because that little Irish flair on it. Their old high school baseball coach, I believe, was in the stands. He was supposed to be, at least.
No, he's a Sox coach. Isn't he the Sox coach?
I don't think so. Is he? No.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Ethan Katz, maybe the pitching coach? I think it was.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah,
right. That's my fault.
There was a guy that coached them. I don't know where he's at now. It was a guy that coached them in high school, and basically this is the first time they ever matched up against each other. They were the guys in high school. It was always, oh, we'll see you guys in the majors. Ha ha ha. And here they are. Jack Flaherty bringing an 8-game win streak into last night, and Lucas Giolito, obviously pitched great the past couple of seasons, was kind of struggling at the start of the year. So this was kind of obviously, a higher pressure game. Not really Jack Flaherty's fault, actually, for last night. Anyone that watched that game, I think the Cardinals were only charged with like 3 errors, but it had to be 5 in the first 3 innings. So really didn't do him any favors. But either way, Giolito's back. I don't care, win by any means necessary. And just kind of touching on overall the overview of the Sox, then top 5 in baseball still. 2 games back of I believe it was the Giants are still in first place in the overall MLB, which that doesn't matter as much because we're first place in the AL Central by a game and a half on the Indians. Hopefully make it 2 for the Cubs today and bump the Cardinals down to I think even with the Cubs if that happens. Obviously, we had a tough weekend against the Yankees. We were walked off twice. Everyone was kind of freaking out at La Russa and how everything, the season's over, cancel the season. I may have sent that text as well. But, we played well. It's nothing you can do. It's a young team making mistakes. So, I'm excited that.
Big stage in New York, too. They got to learn. And that's the thing, though, would you rather them do it now than in the playoffs like last year? Of course. So, didn't mean to cut you off, Tony, but like, I get it. The Cubs were there a couple years ago when all these guys were young and like the pressure was on. So I get it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And that's actually something I told one of my friends. So my season ticket started up again. So actually the first game I was supposed to get is going on right now. But as you can see, I am not there. So I sold them for way too cheap. But we have what comes in the tickets are a Cubs game and a Yankees game. So that Yankees game is that same weekend that they're doing the Field of Dreams game. Unfortunately, it's not the game in Iowa. I wish it was, but it's a Saturday night game. It's the first time we'll see the Yankees since this last weekend. When you're right, it's early in the season. We're still getting the kinks out. Guys are still injured. I would much rather them get swept this past weekend and bring it for August. Kind of had that chip on their shoulder, especially going into playoff time, and because I'll be there. So I guess I'm a little selfish. But either way, going into this Cardinals series, it was actually a really weird game. The first game of the series. This first 6 innings, Lance Lynn had a no-hitter, then all of a sudden gave up like 2 runs or 1 run. They were down 1-0, and then the hottest rookie in baseball. Both you can say looks too, but I mean by play right now is Andrew Vaughn. He's his face is a little weird. No offense, Andrew Vaughn. We'd like you on the show, but either way, he's just a big, strong righty. Just mashes baseballs to the moon. He had no home runs through his first 84 plate appearances, and then in his last 44 he has 4. So I mean, that's definitely picking it up. He hit another double, I think, last night. He's been playing really strong in left field. So we were kind of saying with the Schwarber, and then Eloy, I compared him to Eloy, where it's just he's going to drop one, he's going to misplay it, even if it's just not the right route on a ball. He made an awesome play in the first inning last night. Goldschmidt tried to turn a single into a double. It was already going to be a stretch, but he put the ball on the money for Tim Anderson, who made the tag, got him out at second, and that's just kind of an example of what he can do. Abreu hit another home run last night. He's sneaky. Is coming up on Shohei Ohtani for that home run lead. Anything? Any thoughts on that?
He is dangerous. I mean, he is dangerous. I gotta, you got over on the north side, you got Javy and Chris just going back and forth hitting bomb, and now all of a sudden it's Joc Pederson. But man, Abreu's just launching into it. And I just rewatched that collision that he had against Kansas City. I thought he was going to be out for longer. He comes back and just all of a sudden he's like the home run god of the world. So definitely impressive with that. And he is like the sleeping MVP. But kind of want to hit on something with you before we close out, Tony. Is that G-Spot was buzzing. People are fighting in the stands. And this is just the Cardinals. This isn't a rivalry at all. So when the Cubs and Sox play, and you have tickets to this, Cubs and Sox play at the G-Spot, I believe it's in August, if I'm not mistaken. Are we looking at like WWE, or UFC, WWE, what is that thing that Barstool runs? Backyard boxing or something? Rough and Rowdy. Are we looking at it all? Because if so, I want to be there. And I want to be in the crowd. Not fighting. I mean, unless someone throws a beer at me, then we got a whole new ball game. But what I'm saying is that the Cubs and Sox haven't had a rivalry, like a hyped rivalry like this in a very long time. And, since probably AJ and Barrett went at it. So am I looking at Wilson Contreras, just taking a swing at Lance Lynn or something? Or what am I looking at right now?
Well, wait. So they play at Wrigley first. I don't know when that is. I think that's the end of July. That might be a little bit earlier in August.
It's August 6th.
Okay.
August 6th.
So I think it also depends on what happens at that series. If it is the White Sox fans try to invade Wrigley, obviously Wrigley always, fills out with their fans. So, that might be hard, but it could be interesting if things get a little rowdy and then, then you come to on the home turf down south, then things might get in. It's crazy. They're
down south.
Yeah. Like you're coming.
What am I bringing my banjo to the south side?
Just taking the red line for an hour. Yeah. Well, what's interesting is they were when they were doing the cup snake, the giant cup snake. They're chanting, F St. Louis, which we can all agree on, and then it, of course, naturally shifted to F the Cubs. So, people are out for blood right now. You guys have been hot. You guys have had your little run. We're excited.
Wait. Our little run. Have you seen what we've done since 2014 and what you guys have done since 2014?
That's what I'm saying. It's our time. We're coming back, baby. We're hot. We're here. We're done being pushed around. We're done being second fiddle here. And we're, the boys are buzzing.
All right. Cannot deny that the boys are buzzing because it's summer. The boys are back in town. And with that, we are closing out this podcast today. Tony and I are not dropping the gloves yet, but if there's enough interest, we could organize something moving forward. So with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. Again, please make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. But my name is Nick Brody, joined alongside Tony Cepeda, and we will see you guys next time.